The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting and wonderful Power Trading Hour with your more humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, David White. Once more into the breach we go, dear friends. And of course, we meet every day between the hours of 2 and 3. But I don't think I can find my 2 and 3 thing today. Oh, there it is.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
It does every day. Well, it's every market day. And when I'm not on vacation, we'll add that. No days on that. You know, I know probably got a lot of people scratching their heads asking what's going on out here. We're up 12 points on the S&P cash, 2.1 billion shares. So volume is a bit lighter, but that's it. I don't know what else you can say. It is light and variable. I've said in my newsletter that I expect us to stumble up. That's a word I learned from Tim Ord. And I guess it's the best way to describe kind of a drunkard's walk home. You know, he's going to go a little to the left, he's going to go a little to the right, and eventually he'll make it there, but he'll probably go 2 or 3 times the distance if he just wasn't drunk and walked straight. But that kind of stumble into it makes it a little hard. You get a day like this, and you think it's going to go break out 2,100 on the S&P cash. Then you go back the other way, and you start thinking, well, maybe it's going to fail here. There's not a lot of volume. But there's no volume up, and there is no volume down. Now, tomorrow we have EIA numbers that might get something going. I am Mr. Andy Heck, and I think maybe we'll, when he talks to Tom today, maybe we'll get some kind of indication. Maybe he's been able to read the tea leaves on the OPEC meeting coming this Friday. But to me, it just looks like everybody's waiting for job numbers on Friday and a few other things that we're going to get into for the show. But I still think we're headed higher. It's just going to be one of these things that is painful and slow, and probably what we would have had in late August if it would have come to fruition. But it didn't. But what I was expecting, we're kind of getting that now. A lot of big traders that are on financial infotainment shows are saying that there's probably not a lot of action in the next week or 10 days, and that they're staying out. And I think you can kind of see that where a lot of people don't have a good idea, either up or down. The downside is we have a lot of people short already, or let me put it this way, too short for the conditions. The old saying is you do not want to be short a quiet market, and I think that's kind of what I'm looking at here. It's not horribly short, it's just a lighter volume, and it becomes problematic out here, but we'll have to see how today ends up. But for me, I think it's going to be a lot of waiting and sitting on my hands. I only have one position in all my newsletters, and I'm kind of glad about that. It gives me time to work on other things. In fact, I was just IMing somebody on something I've been working on. But it is what it is. It's just kind of very tough sledding out here. And I kind of have always thought of the fishing fleet just slightly north of us. That is the Greek fishing fleet. You know, when you got a hurricane in the Gulf, yeah, you just go fishing. It's not always going to be fish jumping into your boat. And at these points in time, I've done things like leave, and then, of course, everything a day or two later started really taking off. So I've kind of moved to really working on making my trading better during these slow times. And that's what I've been working on from last night till this morning. In fact, I got up, couldn't lay in bed any longer. Got up about 5:30 this morning, started working on some stuff because it was rolling around in my head. It's time to get out. It's like those dreams that if you wrote them down, you think that they're so killer, and you write them down and you go back to sleep and you get up the next morning and go, this doesn't make any sense at all. Well, at 5 o'clock in the morning, a lot of things make sense to me. And thank God at least a few of them were out there. But I spent kind of the morning programming with one eye on the charts. But I just didn't think that there was a whole lot up here other than they're going to push the market up a bit, going to push the market down a bit. We're going to look at the EIA numbers. Then we're going to look at job numbers. A few people in the Fed talking on Wednesdays and Thursday. And then we've got, of course, jobs numbers on Friday. And then, of course, the OPEC numbers. And that would probably more than anything could get this market moving if we could find anything out there. You know, I'm looking at crack spreads going a little bit wider. VLO's up maybe 40 cents, 38 cents or something. There's just not a lot out there to be had. And these are some good days to not try to force it. I've always lost a lot of money in the markets when I've tried to force a trade out here. And I said in my newsletter even last week, but I thought it was going to be Wednesday before anything got going. You know, you get these days off like Wednesday, light volume on Friday, even lighter volume yesterday. It takes a couple of days after a big vacation time like that to really see some momentum build and start seeing the direction of the market. You know, we had a lot of things just come together. Option rollover on last Monday and Tuesday. Then, of course, you went right into Thanksgiving vacation, half a day on Friday yesterday. Just a lot of people starting to get back into the groove. I think we're starting to see a few more people just scratch their head today. My guess is that it won't be able to keep their hands in their pocket more than a few days. So we're probably looking at some kind of action coming into Thursday and Friday, and we'll take a look at it when it comes. But I think it best to react and not anticipate any moves just for the next few days. But we'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, what else do we want to do? Oh, we want to get this party started.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And as we start this day off in 1853, a long time ago, a real day in 1853, in one of the many market crashes that have littered American history, the panic of 1853 is in free fall as leading blue chip stocks like Delaware and Hudson Canal Company, the Panama Railway, and the 6th Avenue Railroad drop as far as 31% below the levels at the beginning of the year. More speculative fancy issues like Parker Vane Coal Company have lost 89% of their value. And as I say, there's nothing new in Wall Street. How many coal companies have gone out of business or down 90% for the last few years? More political reasons than anything else, but there is nothing new out there under the sun. What has happened before will happen again in the stock market. It is driven by fear and greed. And we see speculative issues like Parker Vane Coal Company down 89% in 1853. Nothing is new under the sun, dear Horatio. What else do we have? Oh, guess it's time to get into the news, and we'll continue on with it. Of course, the Chinese scientists today, or actually last night, behind the world's biggest cloning factory and technology advanced, say that it's advanced enough to replicate humans, they told AFP, and is only holding off for fear of public reaction. And I read a little bit more of this. If you ever saw Blade Runner, very interesting movie. Actually, one of Philip K. Dick's really good short stories. I think the original title was Do Electric Sheep Dream of Something? Can't remember. Of course, it was made into Blade Runner. I think there's a new Blade Runner actually coming out in the next couple of years. But it was, what do you do now when you can make humans? And are they human just because they were made by hand and designed by hand? A lot of other articles this week, and especially into last last weekend and into the holidays, was reading just how far the software has come. If you do a Google search for something called CRISPR, CISSPER, we've talked about it a few times on the Tom O'Brien show. The software is getting amazingly good at manipulating DNA. And of course, even last week, we saw finally genetically modified fish coming to market. What is real, what is not? But I read this article this morning, and it is a little bit bone-chilling, to say the least. And of course, all I can think of is, where's my clone to do this show? It's a nice day outside. And of course, that's probably exactly what's going to happen. We'll have twice as many mouths to feed, and the replicants will become our slaves. Will they not become the new downtrodden if this actually does work? I don't know. It's kind of tough, but scary at the same time. But buried in, yes, we can deliver our clones by Amazon drones. I think we're going to get that going out there. Yeah, Blade Runner was a great movie. But I think there's a second version of that coming out in the next year or two. I think it was put back so they could do the next Alien version. It's really the trip to our creator. What was the last movie they did? I forget. It wasn't all that good. Fed and politics. A lot of articles out over the last, 24 hours, and I'm starting to see a theme. These themes are all thinly veiled threats against Janet Yellen, and they're bringing more of these up. But probably this is a good example of it, where the Fed and politics get together. Last month, the Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen, Brad Sherman, said God did not want her to boost rates before next year. Read that before the election. God's plan is that things rise in the spring. So if you want to be good with the Almighty, you want to delay until May, he said at the hearing. That way, figuring that there wouldn't be enough time before the election to really see the market or the economy turn back a little bit. But probably saw, maybe 5-6 articles like this, where a lot of people on one side of the aisle are starting to impart at least some political pressure. I don't know. I'm sure she reads the newspapers, and people tell her what's going on. But it's got to be pretty tough. I remember Ben Bernanke unceremoniously getting fired on 60 Minutes and said that he would not be coming back by the president. A lot of people have speculated that is because he wanted to raise sooner than Janet Yellen, so he canned him and brought her in. And it's not immune to politics. Of course, she'll be long gone by the time she has to be renewed, but looks like more pressure coming that way. We'll be back in a minute. From Prometheus, yes.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crisp crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're talking Fed and politics, but a little comment in the den that says, Dave, how much have you really looked into this transhumanism stuff? How much of it is really provable? I don't know, provable, probable. I have my doubts, but I don't know the scope of the definition. And this is all about modifying humans and putting chips in them. I've seen a few people that have put like magnets underneath their skin and other things to open doors and, you know, some minor kind of stuff. Of course, there's the real wacko jobs that are putting horns on their heads and really deforming their ears. A little piercing, that kind of stuff. But to me, I don't know how much that's an issue. To me, the bigger issue would be truly if they can clone organs and everything else. You know, will people just beat themselves up and knowing that there's rare body parts just laying around? I don't know. I think there's a reason why Frankenstein so rang into the ears of the people in the 1800s, and that is that it gets it hits a note. I was on vacation getting ready to go to sleep. I think it was Saturday night or Sunday night. Maybe it was Friday night. I don't know. And flipped across the channel, and there was it was a special. I think it was 2 hours long. I fell asleep halfway through it, but it was about the Donner Party and cannibalism. I mean, there's something just kind of visceral about kind of a Frankenstein like ideal where you cut up body parts and put other people back together with it, or eating them, which is probably a little bit out of the scope of this conversation. But I don't know what's out there. The interesting thing is right now is they may be able to do it. The question is, would they have to basically raise 10 units to get one working one? That's been the real problem so far, has been the quote yield on all this stuff. They've done it on lower scales and rats and mice, but it's still one or two good ones out of 10 that doesn't instantly blow up. They're not exactly sure why, but if they're saying that it's probably pretty close, I suspect that they may have figured it out over there in China, as they were probably able to test it out on a lot of people that didn't have an option on whether or not they participated or not, and that's something that they do. Anyway, in Volkswagen, U.S. sales plunged 25%. At least we have some numbers on just how bad it hit them after it suspended sales of diesel vehicles in the wake of their emission cheating scandal. Total sales fell by 8,000 units to almost 24,000 units in November. Sales for the year-to-date were down 4%. I noticed that when I watch TV at night, there's no shortage of the VW ads. So they continue to put lots of ads on TV without a lot of discussion about where the problems were and what models will and will not be available. I guess as long as it passes emissions, it's okay, even if the miles per gallon was fixed in even many of the gasoline-powered cars. I guess they're going to allow them to continue to sell it. Wonder if they had to put new stickers in the window. Anyway, not a lot of news on that, but at least we have some kind of idea how bad Germany is going to be affected with VW sales being down for those cars. IPOs, of course, are still coming. We're going to go through a few of those before we get into charts today. But I think, as I said, market's not really doing a whole lot, not a lot of pressure up, not a lot of pressure down. This is a good time to start thinking about what's going to happen in the near future. And, of course, when you start seeing IPOs come out, especially during questionable periods like now, it gives you a good indication of just how much cash there is left sloshing around in the markets. And when we get back, we're going to talk about the IPOs that are still coming out and the ones that don't look like they can even get out the door. We're going to look at a few of those and talk about them, and then we'll get into charts kind of late in the day. But we'll get into these and some more. I've got a couple pages of the IPOs that are going to be out in the next couple of weeks. Then a couple of pages of the IPOs that they just could not get out the door. That tells you a great deal about the different sectors. And we are going to go into the end of the year with the least amount of money raised this year since 2009 in the IPO market, he said. Anyway, yep, we'll catch you on the other side.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
It's true. Life is all about choices. At Everbank, they're making it easy for you to make a smart one with this special cash offer. Open a new yield pledge money market account with funds from another financial institution, or deposit new funds into an existing yield pledge money market account, and you could earn up to a $500 cash reward. And if you're opening a new account, you'll also get their new higher 6-month bonus interest rate, along with their yield pledge promise that ensures your yield will always be in the top 5% of competitive accounts at banks nationwide. Open a new account or add to one. It's your choice. To qualify, you must meet balance and other limited time offer requirements. Go to everbank.com/TFNN for details and deposit options, or speak with one of their banking specialists at 1-855-750-4051 for more information. You must act by December 31st, 2015 to be eligible. Everbank is a member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Anyway, several IPOs coming out this year, and thanks, Danny, and the Den, who brought up the name of the movie I couldn't think of, Prometheus. And saw another stinker of a movie. It was Moses. A pretty horrible movie, just because it almost seemed like an acid flashback of everything I ever heard about Moses. But both of those movies made when Ridley Scott's brother had committed suicide. And I'm wondering if we just need to give him a mulligan. Anyway, he's going to make Prometheus 2, which is going to be supposedly much better, he said. So I don't know. Anyway, on IPOs coming out in the next couple of weeks, we've got a few, which means that there is some money. Atlassian is a software business out of Australia targeted at software developers. It's basically these teams and team building products. Microsoft really has some of the best tools for team building and team products. A lot of these programs now are so sophisticated that no one knows everything about it. So the idea is to make sure that you break up everything that needs to be done, and you make contracts, i.e. your piece of software needs to do this. It needs to basically have a contract. And as things change in the way that that part of the program works, the contract stays the same and the code on the opposite side can vary, but a lot of these team building products are just that. There are ways, kind of like templates, and everything behind the template can change as long as the language between all these templates talks the exact same level. Anyway, that was kind of probably the most interesting to me. Transfirst is an electronic payment system. It's going to be small. Station Casinos, which is really kind of interesting to me. It has 21 casinos in and around Las Vegas that it's trying to go public now. Seems rather bizarre. Turning Point Brands sells tobacco products in the U.S. under Zigzag and Stoker brands, and that's tobacco products. What they really sell is rolling papers. I don't know why it says tobacco products. Maybe that's what they said. They're selling rolling papers for smoking dope. I wonder how, maybe a great business. I don't know enough about it, but Turning Point Brands, TPD, should actually have the ticker, I think, DOPE, D-O-P-E. But that's just me. Other ones out here in the next couple of weeks is going to be Viventa Bio. This is an early stage bladder and cancer drug. Elevate Credit is loans and lines of credit to non-prime consumers. Probably that one is a growth business after some of the articles coming out over the last few weeks. And one Chinese company, it's a marketplace for peer-to-peer loans spun out of Credit Ease. And this one will have a lot of little red circles on it where I've been poking it with a 10-foot stick because, you know, I don't buy Chinese stocks. Of other stocks out there that are going to be delayed, I can't even say it, Neiman Marcus is going to be delayed, and maybe next summer if things improve. I think, I'm trying to remember if it was my dad or my mom. I think it was my dad called it needless markup. Laureate Education, the largest for-profit higher education company. Boy, didn't we have a warning on these over the last 2, 3 years, 4 years? I don't know about that. Univision, the Spanish language media company, probably a growth industry depending on what happens to immigration in the near future. Albertson, the third largest grocer, operating under Albertson, Safeway, and other banners, of course. So we've got those, and then a few more. McGraw-Hill, another education-backed publisher. Doesn't look like it's doing too well to me. Vizio, again, this is the company we've talked about, big screen, high-def, ultra-high-def televisions being problematic out this fall with Best Buy because there, of course, is Samsung with one standard, and then we've got Vizio with another one. Not exactly sure why this company needs to go public. If they've been able to get to the level they've got to now, I'm not expecting a lot of growth in that company. It's a low-margin business, and they're up against Samsung, and I just don't see why they need to go public. SoulCycle, indoor cycling fitness chain. Don't they need to have a Vizio screen in front of the cycling fitness chain so you can see where you're going? Because you're going nowhere. Anyway, it has 44 locations. Seems to me a rather small IPO, and I don't see a lot in that. Home Group operates 94 home decor stores in the South and Midwest. Also, another good one that gives you an indication of why that thing didn't make it out the door. But a lot of IPOs out there that seemed rather questionable at best. And we'll go on to some other stuff. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can send me an email at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post messages in the den. Yeah, I watched Moses, too. It was, I don't know what it was going on in that movie, but I think someone was on drugs. Maybe the writer and the producer. Just none of it made any sense to me. The Lego movie was much better, yes. Anyway, we got a few stocks out here to look at and see how that's going on. Of course, I guess since I mentioned Lego, we've got to play.
Everything is awesome.
Anyway, Booz Allen, the people that brought you Mr. Snowden and his huge crack, back up here. Not a lot of volume. And, you know, kind of a quiet company. You really don't hear what's going on because most of what they do is somewhat opaque with the NSA. But this thing got a little doji out here. No volume the last 3 or 4 days. I wonder when earnings is coming up on this. Let's check that real quick. I don't like that the light volume. January 26th, so that gives us a good indication. Can it still get up to 31.30? I think the answer is it could. But eBay, of course, you know, after the split and everything else, kind of back up pretty much to its highs. Tried to break back up above the previous highs. We had just on the 6th of November out here, we had 12 million shares. Today, we've got about 8 million shares. So, again, just light and variable. We don't have a lot of push to the upside, don't have a lot of push to the downside. And, of course, some of these other ones, again, are making some fairly light volume tests, are pretty slow. Of course, there's nothing in UNG that says the bottom's in on those. But Golar Limited has a fleet of ships for liquid petroleum gas. And this one actually is made a low with lighter volume. Not a bad-looking chart out here. And I would imagine the cheaper that natural gas is, the better the business should be for shipping this stuff around. If you can get it out. I mean, we've got such a surplus of it that the more and cheaper it gets, doesn't it make one of these shippers maybe a little bit better off? Anyway, $25.52, September 28th, 4.7 million shares. We had 2.3 million shares yesterday. It pierced the low. It's gone back into the trading range. No real follow-through today, which is just about like everything in the market here. So not a lot happening out there. I wanted to look at Nike again. This thing, of course, had tested its high on lighter volume, and we talked about it yesterday and on Friday. Not a lot of juice to the upside today. Going to watch how this thing gets. Probably not going to have a lot of a pullback, but you know, maybe you could get a few bucks out of it. It got to 128. Maybe you'll see this thing go back up to that 133 for Christmas. But pretty small pickings, as they say. Not a lot of gravy left on that trade, if there is one. We talked about this stock yesterday, too. Pembroke Pipeline, PBA. Not a lot, half volume yesterday. Again, we're up on lighter volume today, but there's a handful of these things out here that are testing lows, but not a whole lot out here that actually talks about a little bit. Anyway, the August 24th low was $23 and a penny, 880,000 shares. Yesterday we had 430,000 shares. It's back into the trading range. Again, you probably want to start seeing some volume in the next day or two. But maybe some of these pipelines and other things are actually going to get helped out when prices stabilize a little bit. We'll keep an eye on it. We talked about Pattern Energy also. And this is another one that's kind of made a little bit of low out here. I dislike the energy off the top, but it's kind of just needs to stay above $18.18. But I dislike the stronger volume from that November 4th high. Post Holdings, this one's out here getting and testing its previous high. Did that yesterday on nothing of volume. The last high was September 17th, 1.2 million shares, 71.27. We went at 12 cents over that yesterday. Closed back in the trading range. Volume picked up a little bit from Friday, but that's not saying anything. Volume still kind of sideways out here and light off the top. So not a lot of signals that are making any sense out here for me. Trex, this one on the short side might be interesting. It did test its spike low, though, on much lighter volume and set up that low. But now we're back into where this thing gapped down, and that was on the 3rd of August with, 4.2 million shares. We're back up into it in the last 4 or 5 days, or 400, 100,000 shares, 200,000 shares today. I mean, just nothing. So, like I said, just not a great deal out here to really start hanging your hat on a lot of things. Let's go back on some of these tests that were maybe a little bit a week ago. Take a quick look at Netflix, which is kind of back up around its highs. I suspect that this thing, you know, the energy off the October 19th low has been pretty good compared to the previous moves out here. The volume did not get into the previous low with lighter volume, but did have lighter volume, kind of got into the candles, but did not pierce the lows. But we're back up and challenging that August 5th high, 129.29, 26 million shares. Probably the most interesting thing to me about Netflix is a growing amount of people, at least on the internet, that are groaning about the quality of the movies on Netflix. They kind of like some of the homegrown stuff. But as far as a lot of good movies on these things, I'm kind of stuck with the documentaries on the Netflix, and I have to wonder if something else didn't come by with even better movies, kind of like a Showtime that played a lot of movies. I don't know if I need that many homegrown things that they have. I would like to see a lot more movies that weren't just horrible. And unfortunately, a lot of these things that they're playing are getting Rotten Tomato scores of 40 and 45 and 30%. I think if there's a weakness out here, it looks to me like Netflix is skimming or being a skinflint on buying decent movies every month. Or maybe it's just my taste in movies. But I have to say that there's just not that much that really interests me in Netflix other than a few of the things that they do that are homegrown that really are getting that exciting for me. I like it when they bring some of the TV series that I can watch. But can anybody do that? And I'm wondering if they really have a defensible position. I think eventually we're going to see many of those gaps that this actually has a 3-gap play much lower. I'm wondering at what point do they start losing subscriptions? Maybe not me yet, but I have to say that I'm not vastly overwhelmed with the quality in the last 4 to 6 months. And I'm wondering, is the money that they're making based on the fact that they're spending less money for movies outside of Netflix and spending more on their own home content and becoming more of an HBO than really the idea that Netflix began with, which is they're going to play a lot of movies. You're going to be able to get them for $8-10 a month. But this thing's got a test. It's going to come up here to this 129.29 August 5th, and it's going to be kind of interesting on that. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and, of course, post a message in the den. We'll see how some of these other ones that we're testing we're doing. Oh, we're going to break. I'll be back in a minute. We'll wrap it up with a few more stocks. And then we got the Andy Heck, and of course before him, the one and only Tom O'Brien, our ringleader. We'll be back in a moment.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry, powered by the acclaimed TAS TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. I'm going to look at a few other stocks out here. We talked about Sea World kind of bouncing off this $17 low, and not a lot of juice on it either. It went and tested the July 30th low at 17.08 a week or two ago. Got into it with 1.5 million shares, closed back in the trading range. But again, you know, like I said, a lot of these stocks try to bust out. They come back into the trading range. A lot of them trying to bust down and basically bouncing back into the trading range. And this is one of them. Once they get back in there, not a lot of help. Speaking of help, we're looking at Yelp. And, you know, Yelp had a nice day last week, but, you know, on the 20th, volume finally picked up a little bit. All it really did, though, is go fill out and fill its gap down that had, 35 million shares back on the 29th of August. Is that August? No, 29th of July. thing gapped down with basically 35 million shares. Got back into it on that November 20th pop with 6.6 million shares. It's just been going sideways since then. I've been looking at Yelp as a possible short out here, and I have a feeling that will probably be after the first of the year. I'm not feeling real shorty until we get some kind of volume. The old saying is, do not be short a quiet market. We've got kind of a quiet market out here. And of course, pushed down, we're now up 15, 16 points. Volume is tepid at best, 2.46 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. But it just isn't a whole lot different out there. It's just very light and variable. And if you were a sailor, you would probably motor back in and pop a few cold ones at the dock until something gets going out here. But like I said, I think probably the start of that could be EIA numbers tomorrow. We also have a lot of Fed speak both tomorrow and Thursday, job numbers on Friday, and then of course OPEC over the weekend. So I imagine we could see a lot of stuff start to get this market fired back up for the end of the year, but probably have maybe another day of this kind of sideways action. We'll know pretty quickly the EIA numbers at 10:30 in the morning. But that's about it. Don't see a whole lot else going on out there. Going to look at a couple other stocks just to see how they're doing today. Want to look at IBM. We've been talking about this thing kind of making its ABC down. Not a lot of energy on the way back up. And if you could get this thing short back at about 145, I think that there's some pretty decent interest. I'm hoping that in the slight volume, we see a lot of these stocks rally into the end of the year so we can pick them off at the first. Microsoft, we talked about that one yesterday and the lines out the door. Microsoft is got apparently lines kind of like like Apple has in front of its retail locations. None of these things are big. They're not, like a Walmart or anything, but they're smaller stores in Chicago and in New York. We've got a couple of them here in Tampa, at least one of them at the International Mall. A lot of interest in the Surface products. Went to Best Buy last night. Looked like that there's some decent interest in that. I don't know if there's enough interest to make this thing break out, but I could see this thing maybe dawdling up here at these levels into the end of the year. I don't see a lot of effort unless the market breaks apart to see and fill this gap before the end of the year. Anyway, that's it for me. I suspect a lot more action tomorrow, and we'll be back and cover it. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.